All right, as I mentioned, it's off to the Gariep Dam in the Free State where Palesa is hosting a TNA. It's over to her. Good morning to you, Palesa.
Well, Leanne, it's a very good morning to you and a very good morning to our viewers at home. We're coming to you live from Gariep Dam. We are in the Free State province this morning, in my home province, of course, and it's always good to be back home. Well, it's one of our TNA Business Breakfast show in collaboration with the SABC, and this morning, as we are in the Free State province, we're going to be dwelling into the issues in relation to service delivery in this issue, but most importantly, dissecting the state of the province addressed by the Premier Ace Magashule, as well as looking into a most important issue of budget. MEC Elzabe Rockman tabled her budget speech yesterday, so we'll also be looking into that, as we do know that radical economic transformation is at the center stage for our government for this year. It's a very good morning to you, and thank you so much for watching Morning Live on this Wednesday morning. If you want to become part of the discussion, please do so. Our Twitter handle at Morning Live SABC, and we're using TNA, or rather hashtag TNA BizBrev. If you've got anything in relation to anything that is happening in the Free State province, please do feel free to talk to us at Morning Live SABC, hashtag TNA BizBrev. Well, I'm standing in for Peter Ndoro this morning, and let me take this opportunity to introduce to you the members of the panel this morning. Let's start here with the Premier of the Free State, Ace Magashule. It's a very good morning to you, and thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you very much. Good morning to everybody, our viewers, listeners, people of the province and South Africa.
Thank you so much, Premier MEC Elzabe Rockman, MEC for Finance in the Free State. It's a very good morning to you.
Thanks very much. It's very nice to be in the Gariep district, specifically here at Gariep Dam.
Especially looking at the dam levels as well. It's nice to be here.
Yes, it's a spirit of peace and tranquility that you will find in few places in South Africa.
Oh, it certainly is. It certainly is. Well, and MEC Tate Makgoe, the MEC of Education and Family Affairs on Morning Live. Good morning to you and welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning, Palesa. Let us also welcome our students. We've got 3 students here from University of Freiburg, one of the groups that is in Germany, studying master's degree in Germany. So today we'll show you, demonstrating again that this thing of sending students overseas is not a just speech, it's real. And when they come here, they'll also speak to you in German.
Oh, we certainly are looking forward to that one, MEC Makgoe. Thank you so much. Now, MEC for Roads, Police, MEC Mashinini, good morning to you.
Morning, Palesa, and the viewers at home there. We are at a nice, beautiful place in Gariep.
All right, thank you so much.
I'm sure everybody will enjoy that.
Thank you so much, MEC. Well, if you've got any questions at Morning Live SABC, hashtag TNA BizBrev. But we do have a table specially dedicated to all the MECs, the members of the Cabinet of the Free State province. So if you want to talk to them as well, please feel free to do so. But it's only fair for me, like I usually do when I am in this province, to welcome all the guests that are present at this venue this morning. But where's Dumela Nkofela? All right, no, there you have it. Premier, obviously, I'll have to start with you. Like I said on my introduction, that radical economic transformation is occupying center stage for our government for this year. How did you incorporate this theme into your State of the Province address?
Well, this year we are indeed going to make sure that radical economic transformation happens. The details will be given by MECs, but we are going to make sure that there is black participation in our economy. We're not going to exclude anybody. We are going to be inclusive. Focus is going to be there on blacks in general and Africans in particular. In terms of management, control, institutions of our economy, you'll see it in real action this year. And I'm happy that the budget vote yesterday, MEC Rockman gave details of what is going to happen, and it is really in line with the state of the province. So people will see it and will feel it this year.
All right. MEC Rockman, let me just bring you into that discussion, like the Premier saying that you actually got to dwell a little more into this theme. Talk to us about how easy or difficult was it for you to actually come up with this whole budget?
The budget process is always very complicated. We have thousands of demands, and a very small resource pool. And we really have to prioritize and allocate where we are going to make the most difference. As you know, education and health remain top priorities of government. Education, health and social development take 74% of our provincial budget. So it's very difficult. But we should not think that radical economic transformation is a standalone program there somewhere that we are going to throw money at. It's radical economic transformation must happen in each and every step of our government processes. We talk directly to ownership and means of production in the economy. So every step of the way, I think the Minister of Finance made reference to it, I also spoke to it yesterday. It's very critical that we implement consistently the new preferential procurement regulations, for example. It's monitoring that we meet our targets together with our Department of Destia, Economic Development and Treasury. We will play a very significant monitoring role to make sure that every department adheres to those preferential procurement regulations.
Yeah, all right. And talking about the Department of Economic Development, one would actually think that a huge, besides education and health, but one would think that a huge chunk of money would also go into that department, especially looking into how well tourism is doing in the Free State Province in terms of its economic development.
Yes, economic development, we will always feel that it is less resourced than what it should be. It's got a very broad mandate. It's not only economic development, in our case, it's also linked to environmental protection. It's very difficult because all departments has a of monies, big infrastructure, direct.
All right, apologies there. Seems to be a bit of a break in transmission. I'm not too sure what's happening there with the signal in the Free State, but we'll certainly try and get that signal up and running once again to hear that conversation coming out of the Free State. Just looks like something's up with the satellite. But let's take a break. We'll try and rectify it, and we'll go back there. We'll see you after this. Do stay tuned. May have everything back and running, so let's give it a try. Palesa, how are you doing there? I'm thinking our signal is back with you.
All right, Leanne, I believe everything is up and running. Thank you so much, and a warm welcome back to Gariep. We're still looking at the State of the Province address of the Free State Province, as well as its budget speech that was tabled by Ace Rockman yesterday. So at Morning Live SABC, it is our Twitter handle. Keep those questions coming. We're using TNA breast. That's the hashtag this morning. Well, Ace, I think when you got cut off, you had already said majority of things. So let me just move on to MEC Tate Makgoe. You must be a happy man. I mean, a huge chunk of money into your department.
Well, Palesa, you must remember that a Department of Education as a sector is very, very important to address issues of economic transformation, because without skills, you would not be sustainable economic transformation. So I think we deserve that amount of money. In fact, it's not enough. The MEC knows that it's not enough. We've got a lot more challenges. And one of the things that people have been able to take economy away from us as African people was to deny us education. Yeah. So in the past 20 years and going forward, we are still fighting. It's a struggle. It's going to go on for some time.
But is it enough for the province to maintain its first position?
Well, we'll always be there. I think that one we've been able to demonstrate that we can achieve it without many resources.
So that's an obvious factor.
Yeah, that one is an obvious one.
All right, no, that's obvious, MEC. Let's leave it at that. Let's leave it. MEC Mashinini, you are also a chairperson for the economic cluster, meaning that the radical economic transformation affects you directly. What do you have to say from what you heard from MEC Rockman yesterday when she was tabling her budget speech?
Thank you very much, Palesa, and the viewers out there. Let me start first by congratulating those men and women who are wearing the blue uniform, who are out on the street there, making sure that Free State is basically free and is Free State crime is reduced. But getting to the point of the economic development, what a critical matter. One of the things that we need to do that I think the Free State is following on that one is to make sure that the only way that you can begin to reduce the level of poverty and inequality is by making sure that the people of the Free State participate. And if you listen to the budget speech of the MEC, speaks directly to that. And if you look at the Premier State of the Province address, speaks directly to that. I concur with that. The only way to go is to make sure that we have that radical economic transformation. And what you do, you make sure that Africans and blacks in particular participate in that.
All right. Now, still on you, MEC Mashinini, you congratulated the men and women in blue uniform. Well, let us congratulate you and your department for ensuring that Free State Province is the safest, as we're sitting at the first position as well in that regard. But how are you planning to maintain the status? Talk to us about the crime prevention strategy that the department has.
One crime is too many in the province. That's what we should gun for. And that's exactly what we are gunning for. We do have programs that we have put in place. A program like, we call it a youth ambassador. Those are young men and women that are, working in the police, that are police officers. What do we do with that? One of the sticky crime is the issue of the stock theft, is the issue of the gangsterism that is there. And I think the young ambassadors, which are policemen, they are the ones that are going down there and speak to the youth, because you would also agree that one of the focus of this gangsterism is on the young people. And what we seek to do, we seek to make sure that these young men and women speaks directly to them, because you know what is critical is that for you to get out of something that you are doing all the time is to make sure that people that are young, people that are like you, they can speak to you, and in so doing, you'll be able to remove them slowly out of that. I'm raising it. The second one is the issue of the stock theft, which is also a sticky crime. I'm saying I appreciate that Free State is the leading province with regard to reduction of the crime. But I said earlier on, one crime activity is too many, and we must gun for that to reduce that. So what we are doing, a program is there, interaction. We are working together with the community. That's why I always appeal. When you see an activity of a crime, don't take law into your own hands. Make sure that you protect, make sure that you speak, make sure that you convene, you call the police so that they can handle them.
But the programs that your department have, are they really effective enough? Let us just zoom a little bit on the issue of gangsterism. It's not a new thing in the Free State Province. It was there during the times of MEC Butana Kompela, and then things got a little bit better. But what is happening in Mangaung now, MEC Mashinini? People are even afraid to walk in the streets of Mangaung as it is.
We do have, thank you for that, we do have a special team that we have established, particularly focusing in Mangaung, and also including Botshabelo. I agree with you. You can't have a situation whereby the society feel not free to walk around and so on and so forth. But in Mangaung in particular, we do have a team that focusing in that area to deal specifically with the crime, and also including in the other areas. Let me indicate to you, we are also working together with the Department of Social Development. What do we do? Because some of these young people, boys and girls, they get into these things of the drugs, and you have to put in the social workers into that particular place. I can mention other areas where we actually work together with the Department of Social Development to make sure that at least when we apprehend, we get these young people, we can then talk to the Department of Social Development so that they can then begin to be rehabilitated. Yes, that's what we must do. We must get deeper into it. People we cannot allow our own people get into the activities of the crime. And that's priority number one for the department. Let's deal with the areas. That's why I say we don't have a space for criminal activities in the province.
All right. MEC Makgoe, let me just move back to you. I do know that I've been following you on Twitter, and I've seen that you've actually been engaging with all stakeholders in education. You've been having meetings with the SGBs, the principals. There was the Lokgotla as well in the province. How are things looking?
Well, maybe the first we must start with the State of the Province address. If you look at the State of the Province address, we are happy that the Premier gave us new direction in terms of what needs to be achieved in education. And amongst those include the issues of schools of skills, where we would be targeting those learners who are, less gifted academically, but who have to have a skill to survive. And then I'm very, very happy to announce that our School of Skill has started in Botshabelo, because you know that not every child is gifted academically. There may be other children who are gifted in terms of working, and therefore we are starting that new project. But I must also say that in terms of addressing the issues that I've mentioned earlier, in terms of economic transformation, we have gone out of our way now, as instructed by the State of the Province address, that we need to go out and check friends of ours internationally who can support us in terms of vocational training. And I'm very happy to announce again that the past 2 weeks, I went to Brazil and Portugal. And in those two countries, we have seen how advanced they are in terms of vocational training. Apprenticeship, sometimes students who go and study engineering have to do apprenticeship first. And you can imagine that if you are going to study mechanical engineering and you have to go through apprenticeship first, by the time you arrive at the university, you are well clued up with the issues. We don't have engineers who would say they are unemployed because they can't do anything with their hands. And I think this is one area that we will be focusing on this year to ensure that now we explore these international relations. We also have TVET colleges here at home, but even more important, Nuclear Energy Corporation of South Africa. We have also agreed with them to work together, because now we are refocusing everybody. We have been saying, let's focus on mathematics, let's focus on science. But now they've qualified, they are graduates of high school. What happens thereafter? And this is what we are on. And that is why we are saying that we are very confident that in the province, we are preparing ourselves adequately for economic transformation.
All right. Well, thank you so much indeed. Well, Premier, back to you on your speech during the delivery of the State of the Province address. You actually made mention of the reopening or the re-establishment of your industrial areas like in Botshabelo, Difeme, like in South Phamisa. Talk to us about that.
Well, there is a special economic zone called Maluti Zone between Kwakwa and Harrismith, which is closer to the Durban corridor. We have been speaking about the Free State, Durban, and the Gauteng corridor. The special economic zone is well established now. We have already spent 212 million, and by the end of this financial year, we'll be spending 800 million. There are investors from different countries, China in particular, who have already indicated they want to be there. So this year we'll be starting to build huge factories. Factories like Boxmoor International, which is around Harrismith, want to further expand. We will be doing maybe a lot of issues, pharmaceuticals. We'll be producing medical equipment around Harrismith. Therefore, you are going to see a lot of economic activities. But in those economic activities, we're demanding that there must be black participation. The industrial park in Botshabelo, already 60 million, has already been spent by the Department of Trade and Industry. And there is a lot of activities around the province, and that's why I'm just saying we're opening up and working with Turkey, working with Portugal, working with other countries, and especially white and black businesses in our province. You will see that we are going to expand and make sure that there are jobs created and there is real economic transformation.
Mm-hmm. That real economic transformation, MEC, a lot of people have queries and concerns in relation to the late payment of small businesses. And I know that you've been mentioning this issue for the past years, that businesses should be paid within 30 days, but that is not happening.
I think there are still problems in some areas where we run into problems. Remember, we say payment within 30 days is non-negotiable unless there is a dispute on a specific payment. We've put in place different monitoring mechanisms. There are regular reports that happens in the Director General's Ford, which is a meeting of all HODs, and we intervene directly where we see there are patterns of concern emerging. Premier's Office and Provincial Treasury both have dispute resolution mechanisms that any small business owner can contact to say we are running into problems, there is a delay. Because that is an undeniable truth we can't get away from, is that the delays in payments directly affect the ability of our SMMEs to grow, and it causes problems for them. They cannot go and explain to SARS that they can't pay their tax because they're waiting for payments for government. And it's very real problems that we have to find a way to resolve. But I think we've put in place a number of mechanisms that enable us to directly intervene and to unblock those processes.
What are those mechanisms, MECs? Because I managed to chat to some of the small business, or rather small entrepreneurs when I got here yesterday, and a whole lot of them were complaining about the issue of late payment, that look, our businesses are not doing well because of these late payments, and they are even afraid to go and ask. That's what they say.
I'm not sure why they should be afraid to go and ask. If they can't ask the department directly, they can come to any other MEC or to Premier directly. We are very approachable. Many times it happens that the department in question would not follow the normal procurement procedure. The invoice comes, it's deficient, it doesn't have an order number. That would be the first point, to say we can't pay if you don't have an order number. Then we must start tracing what happened. It might have been an emergency procurement. The order might not have been captured on the system, so there's no funds committed to a specific order. So it's a lot of bureaucracy that causes a number of the delays. But there is also a question of invoices piling up in public servants' offices that are not getting processed in time. And I think in many instances we have found the reasons why there is this delay in processing payments when there is monies available. So I think we've been slowly addressing all of those issues and unblocking it. But any person who has a problem, and a number of small business owners have contacted me directly on Facebook and through other social media and made us aware of specific situations. And then we are able to quickly unblock whatever problems there are in a specific department.
All right.
But if the procurement processes are deficient, it will be a problem.
All right, now let's leave it at that. Well, we're quickly going to take a break. When we come back, questions from the floor, but you at home can also keep those questions coming at Morning Live SABC, #TNA this brief.